Hello there, this is Rom coming back at you with yet another car video. The level of game goofiness out here is scary. It's scary. I mean, game goofiness, just guys just don't know. And when I say game, I just mean man gets woman, all right? Nothing like manipulating or anything like that. You know, just man gets woman if y'all don't like the term game. But dude, that's what we're saying out in the streets. And a lot of guys just goofy with it. I was thinking about that because you remember last week I did that video on that dude from Africa who had 400-something sex tapes and shit. And the goofiness just in the comments, guys thinking, oh, it was just his money, it was just his power. Anybody who knows game knows at best those are baits, but you still got to talk to the women. Just like I talked about in my sit down video today. I said being handsome, hey, that gets some women. Hey, that gets some women's attention. At least the ones who think that you're handsome. They ain't gonna get every woman's attention, but that's another conversation. Well, just in case somebody's curious, some women ain't gonna think you're handsome. But you get some guys thinking, yeah, just gotta be this or that, that's it. Nah, that's game goofy. Because you still gotta have more. Even that guy in Africa. See, one of the things, he was cheating with some women who were married to guys who had money and power. Probably more than he did. So why would they cheat on a man who has it? And let's be real. Let's go beyond that. There's plenty of men who have money right now. Got money. 6 figures. They get no parts to the pussy. Right now. Why would they need to what the? Oh man. Why would they need to cheat on why would they need any game? If that's all it took was money. I wish all it took was money. Why would they need to work hard or do any of that stuff if all it took was money? And never mind that dudes be thinking all it takes is money, but yet not doing anything to get money. Why you got all these sugar babies out here? You think these sugar babies actually like the men they with? Or some of these sex workers? If all it took, yeah, you need money to get a sex worker. And some of them ain't gonna mess with it, man. But what about these regular women out here? Guys be having some money. Or what about these men out here who got money? Hell, they can have status too. They can have money and status, even some looks. And they still take that trip back home one day. They double back home. And Joe Roughneck, my bad. I'm thinking about somebody else. Joe Rockhead and Joe Roughneck. Both of y'all. You know what's coming next. Shoot, dude be having that woman in that big old house, got all that money, driving her car and everything. Shit. All of a sudden, some other man be pounding, he go in his house, and some other man be pounding the shit out of his woman. And he look back and say, my bad. In fact, I'm going to share two videos. One was from the Isley brothers and R. Kelly. You know, Contagious is one from R. Kelly and the Isley brothers. Dude, Mr. Big had all that money. His woman still cheated on him. And the marriage counselor from nephew Tommy. Shoot, that man was getting them with that woman. That man had plenty of money. His woman still wasn't satisfied. Nephew Tommy is about to get up in there. You still gotta have more. See, understand something with women. At best, those things are bait. And then you still gotta question, what are you baiting? Let me shout out Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. One of the last private, because me and him every now and then would have a private conversation. I never forget the last private conversation I had with him. The last private conversation. He was talking about all these guys that were high 5 figures and 6 figures having trouble with women. But they got money, though. You still got to have some game out here. And game just mean how you interacting with the women. How you interacting. Because like I said, there's plenty of guys out here got money. Plenty of guys and they having trouble. If all that took was money. And that's all over the world. I don't care where you go. That's all over the world. There's some guys got big old houses. Got those nice cars. Still having some trouble because they don't know how to talk to women. They don't got no game. They don't have no personality or something. They don't know how to connect with women. Plenty of guys, educated, got all that stuff. And then there's plenty of guys who are handsome. Look at all these handsome man videos out here. Shoot, there's a ton of handsome man videos. Made more so than me. You got some guys, they getting big off of handsome man videos. If all it took was looks and no game, they wouldn't need to do those videos, would they? Think for a second. Because you get a lot of guys, they think, oh, it's just that, it's just that. And you know what I find interesting? These guys never say, well, this is what I use. They never say what I use. They just throw out some shit. They fantasizing and shit and still can't figure out why they ain't getting none. Because they don't know from their own perspective. Ain't no guys out here saying, you know what? All the times I've talked about, like, it takes more than money. I've said it more. I've talked about broke men. I'm going to get into broke men in a second. I've yet to have a guy say, well, you know what? I'm making all this money. I'm getting all these women. I've not one time. And we're talking about years. Years of doing this. Now, one guy said, hey, I'm making this money. They always saying, well, it's money and all of that. They throwing out shit, speculating and shit. They ain't saying what they know. Only way you know something is from personal experience. And I was going to say about broke men. How is it if all it takes is money or even looks or even status? You got some men who got none of them getting it. I did a car video, my last car video, I was talking about that. You got some men got none of that shit. None of that shit. And they the my bad man. You know the my bad man be getting in there. Shit. And if he got some man talking about money and status and all of that, well, you know, who had a bigger status than Tom Brady? Won seven Super Bowls. Considered, and not a bad argument, the greatest quarterback in the NFL history. Had money, had status. Yeah. And I heard recently his ex-wife pregnant by her jiu-jitsu instructor. Nobody even really know who he is. Or you look at somebody like Will Smith. Will Smith. How much money and status he got? Yeah, this woman doing a young boy. How many dudes are like that? Now, you still gotta have some game out here. Game not just getting the women, just understanding how you dealing with them and just dealing with them and shit. A lot of guys game goofy. Yeah, they think they don't need much to get that woman. Please. Please. You still gotta know what you dealing with. And then you got guys who got none of that shit, but they think. They thinking. They speculate. I'm like, okay. But then, how is it some broke ass dude in your neighborhood getting it? Or you get some dudes talking about Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray don't got shit. Pookie Ray Ray ain't even shit. A lot of times they ain't even like known in the hood. Getting some. So what is it? What is it? They got game. They know how to deal with women. I always tell that story about that homeless looking dude, man, working these women at this gathering. That dude, I mean, his hair was jacked up. That dude looked homeless. That dude, before we even got there, I remember that dude picking up a cigarette butt from the ground. This other dude just looking at him and shit. Like, what the fuck? He got in there with those women. He doing his thing, but he had game though. And that's all he needed. He understood what was up. Because game goofy just means you just don't know. Sure. In fact, if you thinking it's about money or whatever, how is it you got some dudes out here, they got the women paying them? You got these low-key gigolos out here. You got these homosexuals out here driving a woman's car and shit. What they doing? Because, see, one of the things, too, that nobody wants to talk about is just the sex thing. Just the sex thing. Like, a lot of times I notice one thing. Everybody trying to talk about how this guy, like that guy with the 400 tapes, getting the women, right? Probably good in bed. Now, I take that back. There was a few people who said he probably had a reputation being good in bed. But shoot, that's what these women looking for. Shoot, these women shoot. And that's a big part of the game, too, the sex thing. Because so many people are talking about the bait. So many people are talking about conversation. And I give some people who talk about the mouthpiece and all of that. But let's just be real. And this is something I be talking about on my Patreon. Just the sex. You know? Just the sex. They'd be like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. We still got to talk about that. Because if you get a guy who's getting women like that, getting women to do different things, it's definitely the sex. The sex is in there. The sex itself, and that's a big part of the game too. You can't get past that part. You gotta have that sex in there. You get shoes. You gotta be able to like satisfy that woman. And shoot, women call it that BDE, big dick energy. Shoot. And that, you know what's funny though? A lot of guys don't get it because they ain't getting nothing. They don't understand that shit. That's a big reason why a lot of women be getting with some guys and some guys can't figure it out. Well, you shouldn't figure it out if you heterosexual. If you heterosexual, you shouldn't be able to figure that part out. But it's still a reality. You talk to a lot of these women and why they dealing with a certain guy, he dicking them down. He dicking them down, and that's all he need to do. That's what he's supposed to be doing. He dicking them down. But see, that's a part of the game too. The woman need to look at you and say he can get it. Or look like you can do something in the bedroom. Because if I don't care what you got going on, you can have all the money, all the status in the world. But if a woman ain't looking at you and looking like you can do something in the bedroom, you not getting nothing. Or if you do have some money or something, she might be using you. Look for a video next week talking about that. She'll use you, seriously. That's why a dude could be broke, not living at his own house, but he can dick a woman down. Go ahead, man. He can dick a woman down. And women, one thing with them, they will talk about that shit. Shit, they in the office fuck. If that dude on the office fuck file, shout out Cousin T-Talk for introducing that. And you get a bunch of women in there and they say, well, nah, that dude good. And sometimes, I'm going to tell you something now with that, even with that sex thing. You can get a dude, if he with a fine woman, and he don't even have to look like all that. The first thing the woman going to think, like say that dude, he average looking, and he don't got that killer body. Don't look like he practiced body game, but still getting some women. If he walking around with a fine woman and she smiling, other women seeing that, they like, shit. Because that's part of the game too. Shout out Master Teacher BGS because, like I said, he broke down the 4 pillars of game. He broke down the 4 pillars. First is whatever environment you in. Then you gotta have your bait or hook or trap. Well, he'll say trap. Bait or trap, that's to draw them over there, right? So that's your physical appearance, your clothes, all that. Depending on the situation, could be your money and status, right? That's your trap. You gotta have your conversation. That's your mouthpiece, your hook, your personality. You gotta talk to them. But you still gotta knock them out in the bedroom. Now, because there might be some guys, they get the first 2. Well, they in the right environment. They get that check. Have some good bait check. Get them in the, got a good rap check. But you still got to give them the impression, or you still got to knock them out in the bedroom, or at least give them the impression that you're going to knock them out in the bedroom. That's a big part of game. Like, I hadn't shared that video in a long time with that little man. He was turning that woman on. I'm gonna share that video again too. Cause when I talk stuff, I bring references and stuff. I don't just say something. I let y'all figure that out. So y'all check out what I got in the description box. So I got 3 videos so far. I don't know, might get some more up in that joint. Because, game goofy. See, a lot of dudes don't understand that because they ain't getting nothing. Because like I said, they be talking about all this stuff, but they don't talk about it from their point of view. They speculate. If you speculating, boom. Because everything I ain't speculating about. Because I would say half the women I dealt with were making more money than me. And shoot, I was getting a lot of play. I ain't even had my own space. Shoot, even in recent years and stuff, place I was staying, man, please, that wasn't, that was just a modest apartment. Still getting some. What the fuck? Seriously. But see, when you understand the pillars of game, you got that good thing, you looking good. Because it really come down to getting them in the bedroom. So a woman gotta look at you and want to see you naked. So that's a big part with body game, whatever body she like. Clothes, how your clothes fitting on you and everything. How you talk, how you interacting with it. Do you look like you can fuck? It's really that simple. It ain't that big. Now, like I said, you get some women, they will mess with a guy for money, but usually they using him. Like I said, I got a video coming next week. Recorded it this morning where I'm getting more into that. So you gotta understand that. You gotta understand that game. You gotta understand what you need to be doing. But see, a lot of guys out here, they don't know. They speculating. And then we're speculating about somebody else, but they can't say anything from their perspective. They don't know. Because let's be real out here, a lot of guys just ain't getting nothing. Ain't never getting nothing. Don't got no evidence of it. So, it is what it is. And I would just say this. If you want to really get the game, start off understanding what environment you in, which means you gotta understand which women are in that environment. If you in some hood environment or something, well, you probably gotta be a little hood. If you're in some bougie, upper class environment, well, you probably going to need to be more upper class. And then you need to, like, your bait needs to fit that. Not just your body, but how you dressing and everything, how you speak. Because your class is going to be very important. How you fit into that environment, your bait. Your bait just period. Whatever you're using to draw women to you. And then you still got to talk to them. You can't get past that. Because you get some Bammers out here, and I'm going to be talking about this next week too. They think it's just their bait, but you got to talk to the woman. You can't get past that. I don't care what you look like, how tall you are. Most that's going to do is draw them to you. And that ain't a bad thing, but then what you going to say to them? Because what do I always say? Women will say he was alright till he opened his mouth. Because women like to talk. In fact, that conversation's so powerful. Somebody with average bait, if they got that mouthpiece, they can get over. And then you still got to knock them out in the bedroom. You still got to knock them out in the bedroom. Because that's a big thing. There's a lot of guys who get there but only get one time with a woman. If you only get one time with a woman, I would say, yeah, you get, in most cases, you get one time. Some women might give you twice. Like, if you bad, they might give you a second time. Might. But in most cases, if you ain't doing it in the bedroom, that's the worst thing. Women be pissed off at you and shit. So, you know, that's the game. You gotta have that shit all around. It ain't no just some little thing. See, one of the issues of, like with many men, the woman could just be there and lay there. Women don't think the same way. Women don't think the same way. You gonna have to do something. You gonna have to do something up in there. But it's scary. A lot of guys don't get all those basics. Those are basics. A lot of guys don't get those basics. And then they think they know something, and then they be trying to talk like they know something. I was like, hold up, dude, no. I'd be like, how many pregnancy scares you had, motherfucker? You know, how many kids you got? How many women you been with? I'm gonna ask a motherfucker that, because that's how you really know some shit. That's how you really know some shit. So you gotta really think about it. You gotta think about it on all those levels and stuff. Right? You know, can't be game goofy out here. And you know what? Some dudes still gonna be game goofy. Oh well. That leaves more for the dudes who gonna be smart about that shit. It is what it is. So anyway, y'all, that's all I got for today. I'll get back with y'all. I'll get back with y'all tomorrow and something else I gotta hit on partner tomorrow. All right. So anyway, I'll talk to y'all. Peace.